What if I told you that just 10 battles could define the darkest moments in human history? Imagine the clash of armies, the thunder of artillery, and millions of lives hanging by a thread. These weren't just battles, they were cataclysms, reshaping the fate of empires and leaving scars on humanity's soul. Are you ready to step into the blood-soaked chapters of history? Let's count down the 10 deadliest battles in human history, where survival wasn't just a choice, it was a miracle. Number 10. The Battle of Stalingrad, 1942 to 1943. Let's start with Stalingrad, where the word hell found at its definition. Picture this. It's the dead of winter in 1942. The Soviet Union and Nazi Germany are locked in a brutal fight for control of a city reduced to rubble. Over 2 million lives are lost. The air is thick with smoke. The ground is frozen, and every ruined building hides a sniper or a desperate soldier. Imagine being trapped in that frozen wasteland, scavenging scraps of bread, knowing every second might be your last. Stalingrad wasn't just a battle, it was survival against impossible odds. Number 9. The Battle of Verdun, 1916. Now, rewind to World War I. Verdun, a place where soldiers didn't fight for land, but to endure. Over 300 days of relentless combat. Imagine a battlefield so torn apart those trees no longer stood, and the earth itself seemed to bleed. French and German forces faced artillery so intense it turned entire regiments into shadows. Soldiers called it a meat grinder, where the cost of pride was nearly 700,000 dead, wounded, or missing. Number 8. The Battle of the Somme, 1916. Next, the Somme. Day 1 alone saw 57,000 British casualties in a single day. Generals called it strategy. Soldiers called it a nightmare. Picture yourself charging across open fields, knowing machine guns await you on the other side. By the end, over 1 million men lay dead or wounded. The fields of the Somme weren't just stained with blood. They were soaked in shattered dreams. Number 7. The Siege of Leningrad, 1941 to 1944. The Siege of Leningrad wasn't just a battle. It was a slow, agonizing death. For 872 days, Nazi forces encircled the city, cutting off food and supplies. Over 1 million civilians perished, not from bullets, but from starvation and cold. Imagine breaking apart furniture for firewood, or rationing a single slice of bread for your family. Survival wasn't heroic. It was heartbreaking. Number 6. The Battle of Antietam, 1862. Across the Atlantic, the American Civil War brought its own horrors. Antietam remains the single bloodiest day in U.S. history. Over 22,000 casualties in just 24 hours. Imagine standing in a cornfield that transforms into a sea of blood, where every advance feels like marching into death itself. The battle ended without a clear victory, but its human toll was undeniable. You might be thinking, how could anything be worse than this? But the next 5 battles didn't just break armies, they shattered civilizations. Number 5. The Battle of the Bulge, 1944 to 1945. In the icy forests of Belgium, Hitler launched his final desperate offensive in World War II. Over 100,000 soldiers froze or bled to death. Imagine fighting not just the enemy, but the unforgiving winter. The forests became graves, and every snowdrift hid another tragedy. Number 4. The Battle of Cannae, 216 BC. Step into the ancient world, where Hannibal, the Carthaginian general, pulled off one of history's most brilliant, yet brutal maneuvers. In a single day, 70,000 Roman soldiers were surrounded and slaughtered. Imagine the dread of realizing you've walked into a trap with no way out. Cannae wasn't just a loss, it was annihilation. Number 3. The Battle of Borodino, 812. Napoleon's invasion of Russia reached its fiery crescendo at Borodino. 70,000 men fell in a single day. But the cost of victory broke Napoleon's grand army. Imagine fighting a battle you win, only to realize it has set the stage for your empire's collapse. Number 2. Operation Barbarossa, 1941. Hitler's invasion of the Soviet Union wasn't just a battle. It was a campaign of destruction. Over 5 million soldiers and countless civilians perished. Entire cities were reduced to ashes. Picture a landscape where even the sky seemed to mourn, filled with smoke and screams. Barbarossa wasn't just war, it was pure devastation. Number 1. The Mongol invasions, 13th century. And now, the deadliest campaign of them all, the Mongol invasions. Over 40 million people perished, entire civilizations wiped off the map. Imagine an unstoppable force sweeping across continents, leaving behind only silence. The Mongols didn't just conquer, they obliterated. So why revisit these horrors? Because they remind us of the cost of unchecked ambition, the fragility of peace, and the resilience of the human spirit. But here's the question. Are we learning from history, or are we doomed to repeat it? If these stories moved you, share this video with someone who loves history. Hit that like button and subscribe to explore more stories that shape our world. History isn't just a record of what happened. It's a warning, a lesson, and a mirror for our future. Let's remember it, learn from it, and honor those who lived through it. See you in the next chapter of history.